Hi, guys. Our topic for today is about the school as a vehicle for social mobility. When we speak of, guys, the school as a vehicle for social mobility, we refers to the idea that education is the primary engine used to move students from one socioeconomic layer to another, ideally upward. So, how does school do this? Okay. So, the concept of the school as a vehicle for social mobility, guys, suggests that the student's future, of course, should be determined by their talent and hard work rather than the circumstances of their birth. And they learn a lot of things in school that moves them. And this learning, they could use this for them to be successful in the future. So, this belief actually, guys, that academic achievement leads to professional success of our student, allowing them from, of course, we know for the fact that poverty elevates education, elevates poverty, I mean. So therefore, this allows them from lower income background to ascend to the middle or upper class. So there is that mobility if they will graduate and they will use their learning in school, because schools provide the technical and cognitive skills that make our students more valuable in the society when in terms of labor market. So therefore, when we speak of social capital, beyond books, schools, of course, introduce our students to new social circles, mentors, and also professional norms that can open doors to elite opportunities. So they go out and engage to other people and use their learnings from the school. So let's move on with our discussion. Okay. It says here schools are often seen as one of the most important vehicle for social mobility, the process by which individuals or groups move up or down the social and economic ladder. So in theory, education allows people to improve their life chances regardless of the social background by providing knowledge, skills, and qualifications that are valued in the labor market. So, according to this slide, schools here or education serves as the role through three main components. One, of course, schools provide knowledge and skills. Schools provide the literal tools that they need, students needs, I mean, like for example, literacy, numeracy, and other technical expertise required for their professional works. And let's highlight another one when we speak of qualifications here. So of course, they become qualified if they are graduates, if they earn degree, if they have their diploma, okay? If they have this now diplomas and degree now will act as their passport to get a job. So they are formal now, formal proof or evidence of a person's ability, of our students' ability, which are highly valued in the labor market because of course, they will be hired and they will get a job. Okay? And another thing, improving their chances in connection with their lives. So by gaining these assets, of course, our students can theoretically overcome a disadvantages or disadvantaged background. I mean, moving upward regardless of where they have started. Okay, so here, let's move on. So, social and economic ladder. This slide has something to do also with the kind of social and economic ladder, wherein I've mentioned here the upward mobility could also be a downward mobility. There's a difference between the two, when we speak of upward mobility, of course, this has something to do with our student from a working class family becomes a doctor in the future or engineer through schooling. When we speak of downward mobility, if our students now therefore fail to gain whatever skills, knowledge, or the kind of qualifications or skills, they may drop to a lower economic tier than their parents. So in school, they may have upward mobility or downward mobility. That's why schools should provide all the necessary skills for our students to become successful. Okay, let's move on with the next slide. When we speak of, okay, here we have how schools drive social mobility. Okay, so let's define mobility. Of course, from the word itself, mobility, it 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 has something to do with movements. There's a vehicle there wherein social mobility is the process by which individual or groups move upward, as I mentioned, or downward, okay, down the social and economic ladder. Here, schools are considered one of the most important tools for this movement, okay? Because in this theory, they allow our students to improve their chances regardless of their social background, okay? So let's have number one here. It says there, by teaching technical skills, we have here literacy, numeracy, coding, and soft skills, communication, discipline. Schools make individuals more valuable in the labor market. So here, schools make individuals more valuable in the labor market by teaching, of course, two distinct types of skills. We have here the technical skills, wherein when we speak of technical skills, guys, it has something to do with the core competences like, as mentioned here, literacy, numeracy, and coding. And the other one, I will just underscore, the other one is soft skill, which has something to do, of course, with communication and discipline, or it can also be the essential professional behaviors that our students needs. As I mentioned, communication or discipline also. Okay? So next we have here degrees and diplomas serves as gatekeeper documents. They signal level of competencies and lacking higher paying jobs. Of course, this has something to do with their qualifications, okay, as gatekeepers, no? Qualifications as gatekeepers. They need to have degrees. They have to earn their diplomas so that they could act as a formal, okay, they could have a job and to be employed in the society. So They serve as a gatekeeper, documents that prove a person, of course, has reached a specific level of competency. And then gaining this qualification, guys, is often the key to unlocking higher paying jobs that would otherwise be inaccessible. Of course, if you're a graduate of Master of Arts, if you're a graduate of four-year degree, if you're a graduate of your PhD, definitely you will have a good job. You could apply for a higher salary also because of such qualification or because of the degree that you have compared for those people who do not have such degree. Okay? But even if you do not have such degree, but sometimes you could also be paid a higher paid if you have the necessary skills, and then you earned competencies by enrolling yourself in TESDA, for example. At least you still have document, but even though if you're not a four-year degree, you could still earn a higher pay if you, so especially if you are in abroad. And next year, beyond books, schools provide networking opportunities. Connections made in elite institutions can often be just as valuable as the education itself. So, what do we mean by this? When we speak of connection, this has something to do with the networking opportunities. Education is not just about what we know, guys, but who we met. Sometimes these people whom we met outside can help us, of course, get a job. So we need opportunities, networking opportunities. So schools here provide networking opportunities that can be as valuable as the education itself. Connections made an elite institution can provide a significant advantage in professional circles. We need people around us because no one is an island. And these people would be of help to us to get a job, a nice job. Okay, we also need to connect with these people. Another is schools teach the hidden curriculum, the norms, values, and behaviors of professional class, which helps students from lower income backgrounds navigate corporate or academic environments. What do we mean by this, guys? So beyond formal lessons, guys, schools teach the hidden curriculum. These now are the unspoken norms. Okay, the norms, unspoken norms, values, and behaviors of professional class. This helps students, guys, you yourself, from lower income backgrounds, learn to navigate corporate or academic environments. Okay, it bridges the gap between a student's home life and the expectation of high status professional fields. And number four there, school teach, okay, I mentioned already, school teach the hidden curriculum, the norms, values, and the behaviors of the professional class, which helps students from lower income background navigate corporate or academic environment. So again, it bridges the gap between students, home life, and the expectation of high status and professional fields. Okay? Next one, let's have the next slide, guys. How schools promote social mobility. It says here, schools transmit human capital, literacy, or numerical, critical thinking, and technical skills is being increased, their productivity and employability. Higher educational also attain, of course, if you have reached and acquired such degree, linked to higher income, better job security. Of course, it will also improve your health outcomes. So from this, school now becomes a meritocratic system. Okay, so those who work hard, of course, will be rewarded, and there will be a better opportunities that awaits for you. So in this slide, it outlines how schools serve as a critical mechanism to social mobility. Okay, so which is the movement of the students, of course, or individuals or groups up and down for socio-economic ladder. We have to take note here that schools transmit literacy, numeracy, coding, and critical thinking. Okay? And these technical and soft skills are very essential to our growth and to our productivity. Okay? We also need, okay, as mentioned, we also need our qualifications. We also need to have degrees and diplomas. Okay? Because if we have this, we could end up or we could have a good job. Okay? So let's move now to the next slide. Okay? Okay. Schools provide credentials, qualifications, such as diplomas and degrees, signal competence to employers, and serve as a gateway to higher status occupations for students from disadvantaged background. These credentials now can open doors that might otherwise remain closed. Okay. The same thing, no? Education elevates poverty because you'll, of course, you will have a good job if you are a college graduate. Or if you are not a college graduate, if you have the necessary skills to work for that job, of course, you will end up also with a higher paid. Okay, you will be paid according to your qualification and according to your skills. Okay? So, take note of this, guys. Okay? And then, we have here, schools can offer social and cultural capital through interaction with teachers, peers, institutions, students, learn norms, confidence, language use, and networks that help them navigate their higher education, professional environment. So, of course, we do not just learn in the four corner of the classroom. We also learn, okay, from other people outside through networking. Okay, we do not learn in a vacuum. We also learn from the outside, from our experiences dealing with other people. Okay, so next one. Okay, take note of the limits and inequalities. So despite this potential, the role of schools in promoting social mobility is uneven. Access to high quality education often depends on family income, neighborhood, and parental education. Well-resourced schools tend to serve more advantaged students, while underfunded schools struggle with larger class sizes, fewer materials, and less experienced teachers. Sociologists, guys, argue that schools can also reproduce social inequality, hidden curricula tracking, and biased expectations may favor middle and upper class students whose cultural background aligns more closely with school norms. As a result, education may legalize inequality. Okay? But I believe that education should be equal to all, and everybody should have an access, no, an access to education. When we say there's a limit and inequalities, maybe students are the one doing the students are the architects of their own destiny. Schools will just be providing the necessary skills that they need. But when we speak of limits and inequalities, maybe because of the resources that there will just be limits and inequalities in a sense that maybe because some schools really do not provide the necessary services, maybe, or the tools that our students really need to engage with greater opportunities, especially if schools really need Wi-Fi, internet connections, uh, learning tools for them to adapt themselves with the necessary skills that they need for the 21st century. Maybe those would be the limitation and inequalities in a sense that they could not get all of this. Okay. But if the school could provide everything, there will be no inequalities. But if you'll have to compare for those other schools who are well, there will be, of course, there are well-to-do schools from whom they could provide all the necessary services for their students, but we could not take away the fact that there are also some schools, especially in public, no, they lack really the resources to provide all the services and the needs of our students, no, they lack fund to provide all of this, so therefore they have to do something for to improve such, okay, to improve such, uh, to improve such in order to provide these services to our students. For example, engage with partnership and linkages, okay, so that they could, these linkages and partnership, they could be of help to the school. And of course, maybe they could also engage with parents so that the parents should also be an active partner to help the school with their activities. Okay? So next, uh, in conclusion, schools have the potential to be powerful engines of social mobility, but they do not operate in a vacuum. This was mentioned already. Okay, we learn also from the outside. Students also learn from the outside. They also learn from experiences. So their effectiveness depends on broader social policies, equitable funding, inclusive teaching practices, and support beyond the classroom. So when combined with this condition, education can genuinely expand opportunity. Without them, it risks reinforcing the very inequalities it is meant to overcome. So here, we can emphasize the specific ways schools function as vehicles for change while acknowledging, of course, the structural barriers they must also, or schools must overcome. Okay, to, of course, we have to reiterate the core functions that makes education as a vehicle. We have to take note that schools, okay, equip students, our students, with human capital, technical skills. When we speak of human capital, of course, it goes with the technical skills like literacy and coding and soft skills, the discipline that make our students valuable in the labor market. Okay, so in conclusion, we also need to take note of the diploma and the degrees that our students are getting or acquiring in the school for them to, of course, to get a high job. I mean, to get a job and a higher paid outside. Okay, and another is that education provides networking opportunities, and teachers here, okay, teaches them the hidden curriculum, like for example, the norms and the behaviors needed to navigate professional environment. So it's not just cognitive, guys, no. Students do not just learn cognitive aspect in school, but students also have to learn the other domains of learning, or they should be, school should be transformative, no, in any aspect. Students should be holistically transformed, not only in a cognitive aspect, but the holistic transformation of our students. And this now, school should provide this transformation. Okay, let's move on, guys, with the advantages of education as a tool for mobility. Okay, Here we have economic environment reduces poverty by enabling individuals to control resources, make informed life choices, and increase income through entrepreneurship and employment. It involves fostering inclusive growth, skills development, and access to financial services, particularly for marginalized groups. Effective strategies include microfinance, vocational training also. Okay, so what do we mean here? Addressing the stalling of the vehicle a strong conclusion here must also be mentioned by this process in sometimes uneven, like when we speak of structural inequality. Take note the effectiveness of schools is often limited by, of course, by the family income that makes them not moving. Okay, so same thing with neighborhood quality and unequal school funding. Okay, so if all of these are present, there will be movement, of course, and there will be productivity for them to, of course, so that we could have this mobility. But it stopped them moving if, of course, the resources is limited. Okay, so without equality or equitable support, of course, school may be an inadvertently uh inadvertently legitimize inequality by presenting structural advantage as individual merit. Okay? So take note of this. Okay? Ultimately, guys, schools are not just places for learning, but potential engines for social mobility. Okay? Why? Because for education to truly function as meritocratic system, okay? I mentioned this one where hard work is rewarded with opportunity. It must be supported, of course, by equitable funding or exclusive or inclusive practices. Okay, practices without this, guys, really, no, the vehicle of education risks reinforcing the very social and economic ladders. It was designed to help students climb, to help the student reach their goals, their aspiration. So for the school to have the mobility, the movement, it should be funded. There should be resources. No? The only reason why maybe the school will stop moving is because it lacks resources. Okay? It lacks its resources for it to move. But if it is well funded, and all the necessary services were funded, okay, by certain partnership, by LGU, pretty sure there will be a leap and a great movement, okay, for the school to provide the necessary needs of our students, okay? So that's it. So take note of this one, guys. Social mobility as a vehicle. Take note that schools are viewed as essential tools for individuals to move up, as I mentioned, or down the social and economic ladder. So take note. Students, or I mean schools, of course, need human capital improvement or development because schools transmit essential skills. Those skills were mentioned a while ago. Next, expansion for social capital. Schools act as a melting pot. When a student from a lower socioeconomic background attends a diverse or high achieving school, they gain access to networks they wouldn't encounter at home, especially if the school is a well to do school or the school has all its necessary equipment to provide all the learnings to the students. For example, qualified teachers, equipment and apparatus to deliver good instruction, if they have computers, if they have good laboratories, computer laboratories, science laboratories, if they have also good libraries wherein the students get knowledge also through researches, no, if they go to the library, teachers and counselors often serve as the first professional mentors for students, guiding them through college application and career choices. Here, we need human capital, and teachers should be of help to our students. Okay? So that's it. Human capital, as I mentioned, a student from a rural background takes a specialized vocational course in renewable energy, for example, by learning technical uh, installation skills, their employability rises, allowing them to secure a high paying job in a growing industry. Okay, for credentials, a first generation college student now earns a university degree, even without family connection in the field. That diploma acts as a formal gatekeepers document that allows them to apply for and land a management role in the society. Okay? Of course, I mentioned about hidden curriculum, wherein a student in a professional mentorship program learns the specific communication styles and corporate norms expected in a high level business meeting. So they know how to approach people in the business world because they have been taught in this school what should be the proper gesture, the etiquettes for this. Okay, they take note of the norms and practices in a business world. Okay? Okay. Next, here guys, let's take note of the cognitive and social development wherein it says here the vehicle doesn't just move geographically or financially, it changes how you process the world. Schools teach students how to analyze information, solve complex problems, and think independently, skills that are essential for leadership roles. Okay? So take note of this one also. So they need, of course, proper knowledge, okay, that kind of skills for them to move, okay. A student here, when we speak of upward and mobility through human capital, okay, a student from working class background attends a school with a robust computer science program, for example. They learn to code and solve complex logic problems while also learning to lead the project team for their soft skills. Okay, this has something to do with technical and soft skills also. And because of this, guys, because of this, skills are valued in the labor market. The students now secures a high-paying engineering role, moving up the economic ladder. Okay, so if they've learned a lot when it comes to cognitive and social development, somehow they could apply this in the real world if they're already in the job. Okay? Next, health and well-being outcomes. These are fascinating spillover effect where social mobility via education leads to better physical health. Educated individuals are generally better equipped to navigate healthcare system and make informed decision about nutrition and styles. Okay, of course, we have to in this slide, schools increase an individual's value in the labor market by providing essential tools, as we mentioned a while ago, and of course, health and well-being, of course, outcome. They need this, or social mobility via education leads to better physical health. Therefore, if they have a job, they could, of course, provide themselves the necessary uh, uh, food that they need for their health, and of course for them to be physically fit in their work. Okay, so that's it. Next, we have here the last one. Viewing the school as a vehicle for social mobility highlights the transformative power of education to reshape a person's destiny. While the vehicle faces significant roadblocks like systematic inequality and funding gaps, it remains the most reliable mechanism for dramatizing opportunities and allowing talent to rise above circumstances. So, when a school functions effectively, it does more than just transmit facts. It equips individuals with human, social, and cultural capital necessary to navigate and succeed in an ever changing world. By investing in education, society is not just funding classrooms, it is fueling an engine of progress that drives toward a more equitable and prosperous future for everyone. Okay? That's how important really is the school, no? Okay. Providing all the necessary help for our students to prepare them, okay, to for them to be equipped with the society. Okay? Their true effectiveness depends actually on equitable funding, exclusive or inclusive teaching practices, and supportive social policies beyond the classroom. Take note that when these conditions are met, education serve as a powerful relay, no? If they all the needs really are in there with them in their hands, no? Okay, therefore we could provide all the needs of our students. So when these conditions are met, as I mentioned, education serves as a powerful engine of progress to our students, fueling a more equitable and prosperous future for our students. Okay? Because without all of this, it takes risk reinforcing the very inequalities it is meant to overcome. So that's why, okay, that's how powerful really, no? How powerful is the school to provide our students and to lead them to success and to progress. Okay? That makes school, what we say, school mobility. Okay? Okay. That makes a school move if they have all the resources that they need. So the topic for today is about school mobility. Therefore, there should be uh, an engine to refuel for the school to move. Okay, so as to provide all the needs of our students, and uh, what would the school needs, so that it will also provide, of course, the capital resources, the human resources, okay, all those services that are necessary to for our students to help them reach their goals and ambitions in life. So therefore, I hope you learned something for today, guys, with our topic today about school mobility. Okay, bye everyone.